Will I try it? I don't want to do it. Wait, hold on. Okay. Okay. Hi everybody, I'm welcome to my kitchen. It is almost the day, so today I'm going to show you the last piece of our delicious Christmas menu. Of course, we're going to need a dessert, but Christmas is a time of overindulgence, so we need something that's going to be light, airy, but delicious. I've got the perfect one for you. Today we're going to be making a Yule Log. Let's look at the ingredients that we're going to need. The first thing I want to do is prep my baking tray. We don't want our roll to stick, so we need to butter flour really well. I have some melted butter here, and I'm going to use a brush to put that all over my tray, all along the bottom and the edges as well. And with that done, I have some baking paper, and I'm just going to put that on top. And I purposely have some overhang of my baking paper because that might help me to take out my cake once it's baked. And to really make sure it doesn't stick, I'm gonna go with some extra butter now on top of the baking paper as well. And just to be triple sure that it's not gonna stick, I'm gonna grab some flour and just sprinkle it over the top. Okay, and any excess you can just dump in your sink, and then we can start making our batter. Next, I'm gonna separate my eggs. Right, and now I'm gonna go and whip up my egg whites. When they start forming peaks, I'm gonna add in about a quarter cup of the caster sugar, really slowly while continuously whisking. And I wanna bring it until I get just under stiff peaks. If you get stiff peaks, it doesn't really matter, it's just gonna be a little bit harder to mix everything together at the end. Okay, that's it. And the test will be to put it over your head and see if it holds. I don't think I'm brave enough to try it. Okay. Okay, I'm safe. That's good to go. I'm gonna move on to whisking my egg yolks now. Okay, so now I've got my egg yolks, and I'm just gonna mix them with the caster sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm gonna whip that up until it gets nice and pale and fluffy. All right, my eggs are nice and pale, and you know they've gained a lot of volume. There's a lot of air in there, so I'm gonna add in my cocoa powder, but I wanna make sure that I sieve it. And because we don't want to lose all that air that we just beat into the egg yolks, I'm gonna fold this in carefully. Okay, and now I'm gonna incorporate my egg whites into my egg yolk and cocoa powder mixture. But first I'm gonna take a little bit and use that to lighten up my egg yolk mixture first, because that will make it easier to mix the rest of the egg whites later. This folding requires a little bit of patience, but it's not difficult. We don't have any flour in this cake batter, so it's all the air that's going to give us the structure and it's going to give us the rice. So we want to make sure that we keep most of that. Okay, and now I'm going to carefully put it into my baking tray. I used an lobster spatula. I'm just going to spread that evenly in my baking tray. So this batter is quite moussey in texture, so it won't really even out on its own like other cake batter might. That's why you have to make sure that you get it even with your spatula. Even though all of the air is what's gonna give us the rice, you do wanna give it 1 or 2 taps just to get rid of any big air bubbles. But now this is ready to go into the oven at 180 degrees for 10 to 20 minutes. I will check at 10 because it's so thick, it's gonna bake very quickly. So I'll see you when it's done. Okay, my cake is just about ready. So first I want to prep a tea towel, and I have some icing sugar here, which I'm going to sprinkle over the top. And this is so that the cake doesn't stick, basically. Okay, it looks perfect. You know that it's done because it's actually started to pull away from the edges of the baking tray. So I'm just going to let it sit here for a couple of minutes just to cool down. But just to be sure, I want to already start to peel it off the edges of the parchment paper, just in case you have any bits sticking. Now I'm gonna flip it over onto my tea towel. This part is a little bit nerve-wracking, but should be fine. All right, we just have to be brave. And with a little bit of luck, we don't have anything stuck. That is perfect, and just carefully lift up your parchment paper. I don't think any of it's stuck, but you never know. Okay, it looks quite buttery, but that's okay. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of extra icing sugar now on top as well. And now I'm gonna grab my tea towel, and lengthwise I want to roll up my cake. You don't have to roll it tightly or anything, so just let the tea towel do the work for you. It's important that you do this while the cake is still hot, otherwise it's gonna crack if you try to do it once it's already cooled. But if you get any cracks, it really isn't a big deal. You're gonna smother this in icing in a minute, so nobody's gonna know. Alrighty, and just leave it like that and let it cool down completely. It'll probably take about a half an hour to 40 minutes. So in the meantime, we can prepare our icing and the filling. Alright, I'm gonna get on to make my chocolate icing. So the first thing I have to do is get my dark chocolate, which I've chopped up into small pieces, and I'm gonna melt it in the microwave. My chocolate is all nice and melted now. So I'm just gonna put it to the side while I work on my butter and my icing sugar. So I've got some soft butter here, which I'm gonna put into my bowl and I'm going to beat it up. And then as I beat it up, I will incorporate the icing sugar. But I wanna make sure that I sift it because I don't want any big lumps. And now I'm gonna add my vanilla extract and my melted chocolate, which is cooled down a little bit now. Just gonna go with my spatula to grab all the bits that are stuck to the side. I wanna make sure that everything gets well mixed in. Okay, that's our icing done. Let's quickly make our filling. All right, I'm gonna go and make the filling. You could use the same icing inside than outside, but it's gonna be the chocolate roll plus the chocolate icing plus then the chocolate filling. Probably with too much chocolate, so for a bit of contrast, I'm gonna do just some cream. This is nice and chilled from the fridge. I'm gonna start to whip it up, and then once I start to see it to thicken up a little bit, I'm gonna add some vanilla and icing sugar. All right, that's it, so we can assemble. But let's have a look at our cake. I'm gonna slowly unroll it, and I'm gonna put in a bit of my cream. Well, I'm gonna fill it with my cream. I like to do it in small dollops because then it makes it easier to spread around. And then I'm gonna use my offset spatula to spread it. And now we can roll it back up, but this time obviously without the tea towel. Okay, and there is our perfect little log. So I'm just gonna transfer now to our serving board. Be gentle with your cake, it's quite delicate. And make sure that you get the seam side down. As you can see, I have no cracks whatsoever on my cake, and that's because the technique that we used to roll it up while it was warm in the tea towel. If you do get cracks, it's not a big deal. We're about to smother this with icing now. Nobody's ever gonna know. To give it a more of a log shape, I'm just gonna cut diagonally a piece from here, which gives you a nice view of your swirls, and I'm gonna place it. Okay, I need to rearrange. Give me 1 second, because this is kind of the front of the cake. Even though we're gonna cover it, you kind of want to see the swirls. So I'm just gonna move this guy around, and then I still want the seams down, so this just goes over here, and now it already kind of looks like a log. I have a little bit of crumbs and stuff, so I just want to kind of clean them away before I start icing, because it'd be easier to get them now than later. Okay, and now we are going to ice. So I'm just gonna take a little bit with my spatula, and again, put some dollops, and then I'll spread them around with my offset spatula. And just continue doing that until you cover your whole cake. All right, to me, this looks like a tree already, but the traditional way that a Yule log looks, you have to make some kind of like patterns with a fork. I'm just gonna give it a go. So you get the kind of rough bark look to it. That's pretty good to me. There's some little decorations that I'm gonna put in. And then for the final touch, you want to grab some icing sugar, sprinkle on the top as it was now. And that is your perfect Yule log. All right, my cake looks absolutely beautiful, but I need to give it a try. So I'm just gonna cut myself a slice. It is so beautiful. It's so good. The sponge is so like delicate. The filling is deliciously sweet and kind of fresh, and the chocolate icing on top is just divine. It cannot be beat. It's so good. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This dessert is a winner every time. It's so nice and light and airy. That filling with the cream inside is delicious. The chocolate icing on top, oh, it's just the bomb, and it always looks the part. It is a staple at my table for Christmas. If you like this video, make sure you give me a big like and leave me a comment below what you thought of it. Please share with your friends. I'm sure many of them might be trying to get inspiration for their Christmas menus at the moment, so hopefully you'll get that here. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel, it's free. If you tried this recipe or any of my other recipes that we published this year, please post them on Instagram and tag me in them. I would love to see them. With that, I'll leave it for this video and enjoy. Have a very Merry Christmas.